Hello and welcome. Chef Pennington here in Austin, Texas. Today we are going to be looking into chicken and how to start saving some serious money by taking some of the work back into our own hands. So what we're going to check out first is how much money are we really spending at the grocery store. This whole chicken cost $1.07 per pound. And that covers all the pieces of the chicken, doesn't matter which cut it is, because every pound is only $1.07. So we're starting off with the breast here. I went ahead and cut it up real quick. We're at $1.89 a pound, okay? That's not very expensive when it comes to chicken breast. It gets much more expensive. So the principle here is 1 pound is 16 ounces, and I weighed that. It was 11.4 ounces. So it's not a full pound. I take that number and I divide it by 16 ounces, and that's going to give me a percentage of an entire pound we have, and I can multiply that number times the price per pound. Very simple math. And it's going to give us our cost differences. We can equate between those two numbers what we've got. 50% higher just to let the grocery store cut up your chicken breast. And remember, it was $1.89 a pound. That's a good price for chicken breast. It gets much more expensive than that. And you'll see with each one of these cuts here that you're paying a whole lot of money at the grocery store. Now, one of the things you can get out of this video is where is the savings? Which one is it okay to maybe let them cut up for me? And you might have noticed the thigh there was pretty expensive to let them cut it up for you. And thigh is pretty meaty, it's the second largest cut on the chicken after the breast. So you think that maybe that would be a little more reasonable price, but it's pretty expensive. So here's a cool thing. The oyster, a lot of people have never even heard of this. There's 2 little oysters on the chicken, and when we cut it into ourselves, it's 4 cents, but you can't find them in the grocery store, so we don't know how much they cost. They're never going to have a pack of oysters. So that's a value of cutting up your own chicken. So I'm going to show y'all really quickly how to cut up your own chicken. It's a great skill to have. A lot of people think it's gross or it's hard or it's scary. It's not. I'll tell you the number one tip is having a sharp knife. A dull knife is a dangerous knife, and it will always be a dangerous knife. And I do have a video. I will put a link below for you where you can watch a 90-second video talking about how to actually how to sharpen knives. So here's the first cut you make. It's right by the leg and the breast. Now, if you care about presentation in the skin, you want to make the cut on this right side much closer to the leg than from the breast, so that once we've cut it up, the skin will still drape over the piece of meat. So that's first. Second is we're going to dislocate the hip bone. Now, for those of you that are a little squeamish, I'm sure you've turned off by now. So the rest of y'all, we're into this and we're getting it done here. So this is really important, highly overlooked. You need to cut out the wishbone. Leaving the wishbone in there makes it almost impossible to get a nice cut removing the breast. So that's why it could be the first thing you do. That could be the very first cut. I like doing the legs first so that the bird will lay flat, and it gives me an easy way to work with it. Some people just cut the legs and thighs off first, but they've done it a million times. This way, leaving the legs on like that we have, it's safer to use your knife right here. So I felt for where the sternum is, right where the two breasts connect, and you cut right along that line, angling the knife back towards the actual sternum. This is the chicken tender. We get 2 of them, one on each side. It's right underneath the breast. That's why it's considered a tender. It's a very non-locomotive, and it's very tender and delicious. And the cost analysis you saw is very expensive for them to provide them for you. Now, the reason it's so much more expensive that way is because there's only so much of it. There's not a lot of chicken tenders. So when they put a pack of them together, they have to charge you more, supply and demand. So we just took off the wing there. Well, we have the wing and the breast connected. This is something they do in Europe. It's called an airline chicken breast, where you just clean up around the wing. The wing's got some really delicious meat, so that's a cool idea they came up with. It's a fun presentation. So we flipped it over. This is where we're going to use the weight of the chicken to help us. So I'm getting a really good grip on the leg, and I'm cutting back towards the carcass of the chicken. Now, right here where the hip bone is, it's like opening a key. You move the knife a little bit one way or the other, and then before you know it, you're all the way through it. Now we've just cut the leg and the thigh off. If y'all are noticing, all this goes very quick. This video is not just sped up super fast. This only takes like 2 minutes, maybe 3 for some people to get it done. And we're going to be saving over $400 a year learning how to do this for ourselves. It's a really good skill to learn. So here's the oyster. It's right on the bottom side. When you're looking at the bird, you'll be able to see it. It's like plump. It looks like 2 little really tender pieces of the meat that's just completely ignored. They consider that the chef's treat because there's not a lot of it. You can't serve a bunch of people. So right here on the leg, cutting through the leg can be a challenge. But nature gives us this line right here. It's right there. That fat piece will always be there. And you take your knife and you cut right between it. Some cuts are a little easier than others, but that's how you get it done. Buying one chicken a week at $7 is $364 a year. So if you're saving 50%, you're really in the $700+ area saving chicken, guys. So here's some other cool chicken stuff. Learn to trust a chicken. Learn how to fry chicken the way I like to do it. Roasted chicken, great chicken tortilla soup. Please come and like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when we post new content. Here are our links to our social media. We'd love to have y'all, and y'all have the best. Take care.